it's Andrea and today we are going to be looking at 3 ways to analyze a deal before you get to any monetary financial questions about the property. We're not talking about the price of the property, the rent roll, none of that. We're looking at 3 pre-monetary ways to decide if an investment is right for you and your portfolio. The number one thing that I like to look at is location. But location relative to what? I like to look at location relative to the size of the unit. So for me, if I'm looking at a studio or a multiple package of studios, a duplex that only has 2 studios in it, I know that I need action for that type of investment. The location has to be a location of action for a studio for me personally. So you want to be close to universities, bars, venues, restaurants, walking paths, places where tenants could ride their bikes. So if I have a studio or a 1-bedroom, 1-bath situation, I want to be close to the action. So if I have a 2-bed, 1-bath, I'm still probably thinking more that action university factor because you're still focusing on 1 bath. So probably one room is an office or a recording studio and the other is a bedroom. If you get into the 2-bed, 2-bath, you could be a little further out from the action. Maybe they're willing to pay a little more, split that with the roommate, but you still probably want to be pretty close to your city center. When I start looking at a 3-bed, 2-bath, I start to pull into things like schools. So good elementary, good middle, good high school, school district, because you're going to get more of a family scenario there. When I get to 4+ bedrooms, I switch completely from action and focus primarily on a subdivision, the suburban parts of the town where there's going to be parks nearby, good elementary, middle, and high school necessities. Because for me to demand the rent that I'm going to need on a 4+, 2, 3+ bathroom home, I need good school districts for my tenants start to finish. Some people that could even afford to purchase a house would look at renting your house just for those school districts. So keep that in mind. You want to be in the neighborhood. The larger the house gets, the better the neighborhood, the better the school district, and the more rent you can charge. So keep that in mind when you're looking at location relative to the size and style of the investment. Pretty simple. Number 2, it's a realtor term, DOM and CDOM. What do they mean? Pretty simple. DOM, days on market. CDOM is the cumulative days on market. Here's a little trick that realtors love to do. So a property's been on the market 100 days. How do they refresh it, make it new and exciting? They reset the days on market. So your DOM, days on market, could show an hour, 7 hours, 7 days. But the CDOM doesn't always show online, but on the MLS, your agent can tell you it may have really been on the market 367 days. Who knows? So always check that because that to me is a great indication of how motivated a seller is. If a seller has left their property on the market for 6-7 months and endured showings and endless calls, they're motivated and ready to sell, and that lets me know that I can come in and offer a lower price. Of course, you can always try that strategy, but if really the days on market is not even a day on market, 0 cumulative days on market, you probably aren't going to get a deal that quick. I normally find that deals are negotiated in 1 week of a DOM. So keep that in mind when you're looking pre-monetary. Guys, we're just talking ways to look at a home quick and simple and decide if this fits your strategy. All right? So the last thing that I like to look at are the classes of the investment. And the more you get into investment, especially into commercial investment, large multi-scale investments, you're going to see classes. What type of property? A, B, and C. And I actually look at those like a student in high school and a college. If you're an A student, you're going to a high-priced college, and that's going to cost you a lot, but it could be a good long-term play. If you're a C student, you may not be going to college at all. You may not have a lot of colleges looking at you. So if you're a C property, you may not have a lot of investors looking at you. I'm a C-class investor. Simply put, A, it's the best. Great rents, but it's tapped out on rents. You've got a great area, probably granite countertops, stainless steel, all the amenities, landscaping, you name it, but the rent's capped. you're going to pay high for that, and you're not going to be able to raise those rents except for as time and inflation continue. That's all you've got. So those are plug and play passive investors. A B property is actually pretty hard to take to an A property because they have a lot of similar styles and things between the A and B, in my opinion. But C, to me, is where the biggest bang for your buck is. And that's where we like to play. We play with the C properties all day. Why do I like those? I come in. There's a lot of deferred maintenance on the inside, on the outside. There's, high vacancy rate, low occupancy, or people need evicted, or leases are all expiring. So there's a lot of reasons why that owner is struggling and they're ready to let go. So what do I get? I get a property that needs work done to it, but I get a good deal. And the rents are low. So now I'm basing that cash flow and NOI on my purchase and maybe negotiating some repairs and different things, taking a headache off of someone's plate. I look at it as I'm taking the stressor off you. So looking at classes of properties, I know that if I want a studio, I want a downtown around action. I know if I'm looking at a package or a duplex of 4+ bedrooms on each side, that what I need is a suburb. I need a suburb. And I need good school districts. I need parks. So I'm looking at all those things, and then I'm saying, okay, all that, how long has it been on market, kind of tells me how motivated they are, and then what class property. If it is a perfect scenario for the location and size, but it's been on the market for less than a week, and it's a banging property, it isn't for me. I'm looking for deals. I want a C-class property with the DOM or a CDOM of 100+, 365 days, 2-3 years. I want to take this headache off your hands. Because what I do next is I take that C-class property, over time I add value, increase the rent roll, so that I'm getting a better cash flow, my NOI increases, I'm building equity in it. So if I ever need to go to the bank, refi, and pull out that new equity, I may have taken it from a $600,000-$700,000 building to $1 million building. So keep all those things in mind. Look at the location relative to the investment. Look at the days on market, because that's going to help you find a level of motivation in the seller. And then look at the class of property and analyze your own strategy. I have investors that I work with that aren't willing to do one thing to the property. They want to pay top market price. They want top market rents, and they don't want to touch anything for the next 10 years. I'm a C buyer. I like to fix things up. So look at your strategy and use these 3 things to quickly analyze whether or not a deal could be right for your portfolio before you even dive into the financials. But stick around and we can talk about some things, 3 things that I like to analyze initially when I am starting to look at the numbers involved with a rental.